Okay. All right, welcome everyone. For today's lunch program, we are very pleased to welcome the VP of Communications and Partnerships for the Sacramento Regional Transit District, Devra Selenis. Devra leads SacRT's award-winning communication, marketing, public information, and government relations team. Devra is a long-standing colleague at SacRT, having distinguished herself in a variety of positions within the agency over the course of 21 years. In her current role, she oversees marketing and communications, media relations, community engagement, partnership building, and government affairs programs that support SacRT's strategic initiatives. We are also joined by Anthony Adams, Director of Planning at SacRT. A native of southern Louisiana, Anthony moved to California at age 15 and developed a passion for transportation planning. He has contributed to several first-of-their-kind initiatives, including the first adopted bike ped master plan for his hometown of Lake Charles, a countywide Vision Zero plan for Solano, a safe routes to transit plan, and a mobility hub implementation plan. He is currently advancing major projects such as the region's first transit signal priority program, the downtown Riverfront streetcar, and Stockton Rapid Bus Transit. And with that, let's see. Devra will share insights on SacRT's integrative and proactive safety and security network, and Anthony will share about SacRT 2050, the vision for our region's transit future, along with complementary initiatives to ensure a connected, accessible, and rider-focused mobility network. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Devra.
Well, thank you, everyone. As you heard and as you can see, I'm Devra Selenis, the VP of Communications and Partnerships for the Sacramento Regional Transit District, also known as SacRT. But it was interesting to me listen to everybody when they introduced themselves from SacRT. Some was Regional Transit, some was SacRT, some the full name. So we go by all those names. But for today, I'm going to be presenting for SacRT. Now, I'm very excited to present this afternoon about our innovative solutions for safety and security. Before I jump in, how many of you have actually taken SacRT either now or in the past? Okay, so it's pretty much everyone, pretty close. But for those of few people who maybe haven't taken SacRT, I'm just going to give a quick overview. So it's not working. Do you want me to say next slide? All right, here we go. We operate over 82 bus routes and approximately 44 miles of light rail, serving soon to be 55 light rail stations. And we're very excited when I say that we're going to be opening 2 new light rail stations this summer, Dos Rios and the 7th and Rail Yard stations. We also operate ADA paratransit service, all within over a 500 square service mile area. We operate SacRT Flex. That's our new shared ride microtransit service. And in the past, we used to operate Smart Ride. I don't know how many of you have actually heard of Smart Ride, but that transitioned to our SacRT Flex program, which is available to certain eligible riders. And by doing that, we actually saved $8.5 million a year. So we're really good stewards of public funding. So keep that in mind. We also contract out for our police services, now partnering with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. I'll touch on that a little bit later in the presentation. Okay. So it's no secret. I was going to say as gas prices rise, but actually they're unstable. They go up and they go down and they go up. We're seeing more and more commuters choose to take SacRT. And as we get ready to welcome state workers starting July 1st, it's really important that we come out and we share all the information that we've done, how much we've invested in safety and security so that we prepare those riders. And also, it's also important because we do a lot of these, we come out and we speak about these events. And so I'm happy to share this later as well to any of your particular agencies if you need it. So really, this progress started over a decade ago. When SacRT faced high fare evasion and crime rates, we knew we needed to dramatically improve safety and shift public perception to attract more choice riders, specifically people who have other choices. And I'm sure like many of you do as well, you probably have a car. So we had a quick change in leadership in 2016, again, a decade ago, and that we started with a rider survey and quickly discovered we had a huge image problem. The 2016 survey revealed that public perception of SacRT was that it was not safe to ride, and safety and security had the highest dissatisfaction responses. At the time, our new CEO, Henry Lee, and our board, their direction was that we need to quickly address these problems, specifically crime, cleanliness, and fare evasion issues. So that's really where this journey began and how we became one of the top transit agencies leading innovation in safety and security. So these were some of the headlines at the time. You can see they're not very flattering. You know, how dirty is SacRT? This was 10 years ago. So we really had nowhere to go but up, implementing these programs. And this negative image really kicked off a comprehensive multi-layered approach to our safety and security plan aimed at rebuilding trust with the public and our riders. Now, since that time, we've invested heavily in innovative technology and drastically increased human presence on our system, which includes a mix of transit ambassadors, security guards, and sheriff's deputies riding our trains with almost 90% coverage. That means almost every train that you'll get on will have somebody riding from our security team. The transit ambassador role. Now, I was going to ask, how many of you know what the difference between a fare checker and a transit ambassador is? Do you understand that difference from back then to now? Okay. The transit ambassador role really focuses more on customer service, assisting riders, especially if they don't have fare, versus just going right to writing a citation for them. So we really do everything we can to make sure people pay their fare before we cite them. Now, the model has been so successful that actually BART and LA Metro have implemented similar transit ambassador program. And it's nice that we get to come out and speak about that. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have a new partnership with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. For 34 years, we had actually contracted with the Sacramento PD, but unfortunately, due to budget challenges and staffing issues, they pulled that contract earlier this year in January. So we had to quickly pivot, and we were fortunate we were able to work with the sheriff's deputies to put a contract in place. And we know that partnership is really paying off because within the first 3 days of that contract, I don't know how many of you saw on the news or you hear about copper wire theft. That's really a major issue. I mean, literally at that time, it shut down our system for about a day and a half on one of the occasions, and it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs. So this is a really big deal, and knock on wood, we really haven't had that issue since. Now, that's just one success story. Since they started 5 months ago, a little over 5 months ago, they've made 184 arrests, and as their continued commitment to making SacRT a safe and welcoming place to be or ride. That's a picture of our copper wire theft person. So now we just talked about human interaction, which is important, but technology really is the backbone to a clean and safe system. Our Security Operations Center, also known as the SOC, monitors more than 5,000 live feed cameras almost 24/7. And through those cameras, staff from that SOC can communicate directly at the stations. And we call through the station speakers a capability that has been dubbed the voice of God on some occasions. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but when I play the video, it'll make a little bit more sense. Now, the initiative of having that option, that PA system, really has about an 85% compliance rating, meaning the nuisance behaviors end immediately after an announcement. This is an effective and low-cost way to stop incidents before they escalate, and we can reserve resources. We don't have to deploy police officers to a station. Now I'm going to play the video.
This is Regional Transit Police Services monitoring the 29th Street Light Rail Station. There is no smoking of any kind allowed on RT property. To the two patrons on the inbound side, you need to put the smoke
Now you know why it's called the voice of God. Comes out of nowhere.
Or leave RT property. Failure to comply, police will be en route to contact you. Repeating, this is Regional Transit Police Services monitoring the 29th Street Light Rail Station. There's no smoking of any kind allowed on RT property.
Welcome to the single wire Informacast system.
This is my favorite.
This is Regional Transit Police Services monitoring the City College Light Rail Station. To the group of individuals roughhousing on the tracks, you are in camera view. Trains are still in service. We need you guys off the tracks and behind that yellow line. Thank you. This is Regional Transit Police Services monitoring the Zinfandel Light Rail Station. To the individual walking on the platform, you are in camera view. To the individual sitting on the bench next to the shopping cart, you are also in camera view. You guys are actively trespassing on private property. Our stations aren't open. We don't have a single train in service, and you are not allowed to be here. You need to collect any belongings you have and leave the station immediately, or I will be starting officers to make contact with you.
Okay, so you can see how effective that is, right? So we've also empowered riders through our Alert SacRT safety and security reporting app. How many of you have downloaded that and use it? Okay, just a few, but it's really effective. This is where human action and technology converge. Riders can send anonymous tips directly to our security operations center using their cell phone. We've already had several cases where a tip came in, the SOC confirmed it via live video, and the sheriff's department responded immediately. So we hear about AI daily in our lives, right? I mean, literally, you're just bombarded with AI information about technology almost every single day. And so, in fact, it's really having an impact on public transit as well. And when I say that, one of our newest technology initiatives, and when I say it, it's positive, by the way, one of our newest technology initiatives uses front-facing AI-equipped cameras mounted in buses to capture vehicles blocking bus stops and bike lanes. Now, when a car blocks bus stops and bike lanes, it has a major safety issue, especially for riders with disabilities or who are using mobility devices because the bus can't pull to the sidewalk, so they have to board out in the street. Now, what makes our program so unique is that we're actually the first of the nation to secure a four-way revenue sharing deal where we pay no technology fees, where other agencies who might have this service pay up to $1 million for it. Now, along with our partners, as I said, we have a four-way share revenue deal. So for example, if a citation is $100, SacRT will get $25 on every one of those. And you can see during a certain period of time, we actually have gotten over 600,000, and that's just from a couple of months ago too. But our goal isn't about money. It's really about safety and accessibility for our riders. As we continue to raise the bar for innovative safety and security solutions nationwide, right now we're actually piloting two different AI programs, one that monitors bus stops and shelters for issues like graffiti, trash, broken glass, conditions that really impact rider comfort and perception. Because if you see a station that has trash and broken glass, you're not going to feel very safe, right? So it's important that we're actually piloting this program. We're the first in the nation to work with Hayden AI to do this so that they can use that program nationwide with other transit agencies. Nobody else is doing this yet. We're actually creating this program. We've also launched an AI-driven drone program to support track inspections and facility safety using thermal and 3D mapping. So I know we have mostly engineers in here, you know how important that is too. So I'm going to play a quick video about the use of how we used AI in the bus stop to check shelters and stops. So you'll kind of see as the bus moves forward. So you can see there's a shopping cart and garbage in that shelter. They're not very attractive, right? And so what happens in that situation is actually the technology connects with our facilities maintenance team, and they know to go out and clean that particular bus stop or station. Now, again, I said it's a pilot, so we only have a few routes on this. We're hoping to expand it as we move forward in this next year. So equally as important to safety and security is service reliability. So we're also implementing a mystery rider program, which to date we've achieved a 93% score related to customer satisfaction and reliability. Our paratransit service often scores about 100%. This is significant as our community's most vulnerable populations, seniors, persons with disabilities, really depend on paratransit service to get them to medical appointments, grocery stores, and work. So it's really important that we have a high standard. This demonstrates how riders can depend on SacRT to get to work, school, and appointments on time. Now, with all these layers of human interaction and technology working together, SacRT is now among the safest transit system in the nation. Our key to success is focusing on preventing incidents before they happen, not simply responding after they happen. So in addition, our board also approved an additional $1 million to further enhance rider safety. So as you can see, our efforts have really paid off. We've seen double-digit crime reductions every year for the last 8 years. And today our crime rate is literally just 2.7 major incidents per million trips. And that's far less than our peers, which often range 16 incidents to 21 incidents per million trips. So that's a really big difference. And fare evasion is down from 18% a decade ago. Like, remember I showed you the survey and what people thought about it. We're actually less than 1% today. So this is how you can see really how we changed perception of all of that. You can see how the headlines from a decade ago really changed. And we're also being recognized for a lot of the innovative solutions that we're providing. So that really concludes my presentation. You can stay in contact with us through social media. My contact information is on here as well. If you want us, Anthony, I'm going to speak for you as well. We can come out and present to your agencies separately if you think you have riders that are kind of coming into the system, especially as many people are going back to work 4 days a week. We can come out and do that as well. We work with the 50 corridor TMA to do that. So here's my information. I think we're going to wait for questions until the end, or do you want? It's up to you. Yeah, if you have a burning question, I will answer them, but all right, well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Devra. And if you think about the transit future we deserve, the number one thing, it really does start with safety. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but safety's at the bottom. It doesn't matter if we have a fantastic light rail to the airport. If you don't feel safe, you're not going to ride it. So when you ask this concept, right, like, what is the transit future we deserve? It's all based on our previous experience. So you guys have probably visited a city before that had maybe better transit than the city of Sacramento. Maybe you guys have flown into an airport before and were able to take the light rail to your home. Maybe you've been to the city of Austin. It's a pretty nice transit system there. Maybe the city of Chicago. Had a nice subway and an L there. So for me, I used to go to San Francisco State. I would ride my bike to the BART, take BART all the way to the city, take a shuttle from that BART all the way to San Francisco State and all the way back. I didn't own a car. So I needed to have a good mobility network in order for me to get to the places I wanted to go. Here in Sacramento, we don't always have that. So we want to make sure we build a network of mobility and really give people the transit future that we deserve. And part of this is going to be the things that we're doing, but part of it is going to be the investments that we need from the community. So I want to give, oh crap, there's supposed to be one more slide here. Yeah, it's okay. It's supposed to be this one. All right. Okay. That's okay. Okay. So this is basically a did you know SacRT programs update, because facts should be the basis of our actions. So we want to make sure that the things we're doing are based in reality and we're trying to solve individual problems. So this is a did you know, a SacRT programs update. So the first question is, did you know that the city of Elk Grove is projected to reach 300,000 residents by 2050? Have you guys ever driven in Elk Grove before? You know, you can wait. It has one of the longest signals in the region, 2.5 minutes at red lights at Elk Grove Boulevard. So as they double in population, where are people going to go? They're not building any more roads. It's just going to be more traffic. So in the city of Elk Grove, we did something called a Blue Line BRT LRT feasibility study. As part of this, we looked at not only is there light rail as an option, but also bus rapid transit. There's 4 different options here. There's like a hybrid version. There's a full light rail version, a bus rapid transit version, and then similar to how we have in downtown Sacramento where we're in lane operating. Once you look at the costs up there, so the light rail version is $1 billion, has the most riders. The BRT is the cheapest, but has the fewest number of riders. Okay. There was this great little matrix. I'm not going to go into this. A lot of different colors. Don't get me wrong. But we basically wanted to compare these things by these different evaluation criteria. And we brought this to the board. When we did this study, we actually asked the public, which one do you want? Over 60% chose the light rail. 15% chose the bus rapid transit. Although the BRT is a better benefit cost ratio, people like light rail more. Just the way it is. So the council selected alternative 2. Their first phase is going down to Bighorn Road. I think it's about a $300 million light rail extension. Did you know the city of Sacramento needs nearly 46,000 homes by 2029 to meet its state-mandated regional housing goals? How are they going to do that? We're going to help them. You know, it's nice to have transit, but if you can't access that transit, if it's too far away from you, it's a problem. You guys remember when they were building all those apartment buildings in the BART parking lots in like Walnut Creek and Concord area? I wanted so bad to live in one of those. transit-oriented developments. It was far too expensive for me, but it's because I took BART back and forth. So if people are commute-centric, we need transit-oriented development, especially for folks who are going to college and don't own a vehicle. So in the past few years, we have sold 9 different properties for development, and over 3,000 housing units are being developed today, and we have 10,000 in our pipeline. So this isn't just private developers coming in and building on our land. We're getting outside money. So there's something called affordable housing sustainable communities. It's part of the cap and trade. Make sure to bring down GHGs. So as part of that, the housing developer gets money and SacRT gets money. Just in this last round of AHSC, we brought in $130 million to the region, just with these 3 projects right here. And SacRT got about $25 million as well. So not only are we bringing high quality transit to the region, we are facilitating good transit oriented development and bringing outside money to make this happen as well. Not only outside places, this is the Meadowview station. We only use about this much of the parking. The rest is extra. So we're looking to see if we can develop this into affordable housing as well. We're breaking this into 3 different phases. The interest rates are pretty high right now, and the market will not sustain anything above affordable housing. So we are breaking this into 3 different phases, but this does call for 600 additional units at our Meadowview station. Did you know SacRT currently has 53 light rail stations, but by the end of summer we'll have 55. If you were listening to Devra's presentation, you might have heard of it. One of them will be the 7th and Rail Yard station. You know they're going to open up a new stadium, 20,000 people. It's bigger than G1C. It'll be the largest arena in the region and will also allow us to do Major League Soccer. As part of that, what was really nice, it's a P3. We didn't pay 1 penny for this station. The developer did. We're working with the Sac Republic right now. Wouldn't it be nice? Have you guys ever been to a Warriors game? If you buy a Warriors ticket, you get to take Muni for free. Isn't that nice? We're trying to do something similar too. So if you buy a Sac Republic ticket, we would like you to be able to take transit for free. We're also opening up the Dos Rios station. This was one of the first transformative climate communities grants in the state. There's a typo there, sorry. And it's also facilitating Marisol Village. This was a big deal. I think you guys might have heard about it in the news a couple of years ago. We got it funded, we're getting implemented, and opening up just later this year. Did you know that Sacramento ranks among the top 5 worst cities in the state for pedestrian and bicycle fatalities? If you guys have ever tried to cross some of the streets here, you might have felt that. So we're doing a Safe Routes to Transit plan. You can have bus stops everywhere, but you cannot access your bus stop safely. You're not going to get there. Or if you go to your light rail station and you don't have any sidewalks connecting to it, how are you going to get to your destination? So we're doing this plan right now. This was a Caltrans Sustainable Communities funded project. We're putting together the draft plan right now and hoping to have the final plan at the beginning of next year. We did some field reviews just recently. And I like this. Fun buses, crosswalks, bike lanes, safe routes for all. You guys have heard safe routes to school? There's even safe routes for seniors now. We're doing safe routes for transit. And I'm a picture guy, right? It's nice to have this esoteric concepts, but let's go down to the ground level. So this little gold star is our light rail station, and these red lines are the sidewalks. Where do these people get to the light rail station? You literally have to walk along the street. What about these people over here? There's no sidewalks. Also no bike lanes as well. So it's great to have a light rail station, but if people cannot access it, what good is it? So we're going to do some safe routes to transit, make sure people feel safe accessing these resources. Did you know SacRT has over 10,000 parking spaces at our park and ride lots? These are just pictures during our operation time. We actually had so many parking spaces that the city of Sacramento recommended that we park homeless, like RV folks, at our light rail stations. I'm glad that did not happen. If I was going to light rail, I would not have to want to navigate that in order to reach my light rail station. But it just goes to show you, we have a lot of resources at our light rail stations. So what are you going to do with them? This is something that Mr. Kevin Schroeder's doing over here. We're going to take these 53 light rail stations and turn them into mobility hubs. We're going to have niceties here. Let's have some chargers. You know, only one of our light rail stations has EV chargers. We have 53 of them. We also don't have any e-bikes or e-scooters. We don't have any contracts with these guys right now. So we're going to make these things nice amenities, put some nice landscaping there, put things like car share, van pool, things like that. And also, have you guys been to some of our light rail stations? They're not the prettiest. This is what they have over in Vallejo. Actually, when I was in STA, we ended up funding these. So you can make transit facilities nice. They can be attractive. And we want ours to be assets, not liabilities. Oh, this is my favorite. Did you guys know that the city of Sacramento gets more hours of annual sunshine than Cairo, Egypt? If you look outside right there, there's not a cloud in the sky. Sacramento, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because we're in between the hills, but we have some of the cloudless skies. It's not just me saying it. This was reported on just a couple years ago. Not only are we the sunniest city for the year, but for 4 months out of the year, these months right here, we are the sunniest city in the world. We have more hours of annual sunshine. So what does that mean? It means that people get hot. So we applied for this Extreme Heat and Climate Resilience Program Award. You can see all of our member agencies that we're going to put bus shelters into. We have, 3,500 bus stops and about 300 shelters. You know, we went around recently and we asked folks what they wanted to see as far as the improvements in their transit system. And the number one thing was just shelters. They wanted like human basic dignity, right? When it's baking out there, you don't want to melt in the sun. Oh man, we even did a light rail tour recently during the day. And I saw somebody it was like the shade of a pole, and they were like this, like standing in the shade of the pole. So we got this award. We went out and asked the public what they want to see as far as their shelters. And this is our new upgraded shelter. We currently have on our shelters right now glass, which is easy to break, and also creates a greenhouse effect, right? So this is like mesh allows the air to blow through. Not only that, we worked with SACOG just recently to put together this Florin bus stop bundle. Thank you, Leo, for the award for this. 13 different bus stops along Bruceville Road in Florin. Nice shade. We're going to have lighting in there as well. So you can see right here, there's a pad. It's empty right now. It's kind of sad. We're just going to plop a little shelter in there. Did you know that in 1862 that the governor, in order to get sworn in, he had to get there by rowboat? In 1862, the entire city flooded. It's actually not a thing that happened 100 years ago. It happened just a few years ago, too. Remember when Discovery Park flooded? So that means it rains here a lot, too. If you guys have been to our light rail, where's the shelter? Where's the shelter? So when it rains, people get in their cars. You're not going to be waiting in the rain for your light rail. So we're coordinating with Air District, SMUD, and the city to do a light rail shelter program. We're going to put some shelters at our light rail. I think the current grant application is 4 different light rail locations to put shelters in to give people, again, the basic amenities that we need at our stations. Did you know that 6 out of the 7 Small Starts Awards last year were for bus rapid transit? There was actually only one project that was awarded, a rail project that was awarded last year. Bonus points for anyone who could tell me what it is. Downtown Riverfront Streetcar. That's right. Thank you, President Trump, for giving us that money. Okay, so with that BRT, we're paying attention. You know, light rail was really the thing that everybody wants, but the thing that's affordable is bus rapid transit. So our number one line in the whole region is Route 51, goes up Stockton Boulevard. We're going to transform that into bus rapid transit. What's nice is that it's a partnership with the city and the county. They own the road, and they've been willing to give us bus lanes. They're willing to give us transit signal priority. We're not only going to have bus stops, we're going to have stations, similar to light rail stations. We don't know if we're going to have the bus lanes. We're going to see how beneficial they are, but we're also going to have an off-street terminal as well. Oh, I got the hook pulled. Oh, no worries.
Okay, try again.
Okay. There you go. So what's the alignment going to be? We're going to find out in just the next couple of weeks. Right now, the Route 51 goes up Stockton and then it goes up Broadway. There could be a opportunity for us to continue up Stockton and then go across, similar to what the Route 38 is, but basically goes through downtown and meets the Aggie Center as well. We're going to be selecting a locally preferred alternative in the next month. We have environmental funded, and we're going after design funding just the next year. And last of the did you know a bus can spend more than 20% of its driving time stuck at a red light? So we're going to have the region's first TSP program. Actually, Mr. James Drake over here is leading it. So this was actually gotten from some ASIC awards. I told you about those affordable housing programs that we were getting money for. I needed a way to fund TSP. There wasn't a lot of money out there, so I kind of rejiggered it in there to get affordable housing TSP. So we did get $2 million awarded so far at 40 different intersections, and we've applied for an additional 90 intersections. Mr. Johnny Kwan here applied just this last year. If we get that submitted, that'll be, 130 locations in the region for TSP. These are our first 2 locations on the left. And we're hoping to have the RFP out pretty soon. So, if you guys read the news, there's a little bit of doom and gloom out there for some transit agencies. I told you I used to take BART. The one that I used to take, they're going to cut that station. They would no longer serve that station if you don't pass a funding measure for BART. Muni's already cut service downtown. This is something that happened just last month. MTS raised their rates 40%, their fares 40%. They hadn't raised them since 2009. Guess when SacRT last raised our fares? 2009. It's not just California. If you look here, that's Chicago, that's Pace. They're projecting a 40% cut in service. SEPTA's out in Philadelphia, 45% cut, and also talking about raising fares too. So there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. So what do we do here at SacRT? And can we have a better vision for the future other than one that is just regressing? Well, how do we compare to others? Actually, SacRT does really well. We're about 25% cheaper on a per mile basis with bus. With light rail, we're about the same, about 20% cheaper than our pairs. You should be proud. We're only 5 light rail operators in the entire state. You should be proud of your light rail system. The reason we're not able to do more is because we get less than most other ones. So if you guys have been to Portland before, they have really nice transit for a reason. They pay for it there. BART actually has a full cent. That's why they're able to do what they do. We get 1/5 of a penny here at Sacramento Regional Transit. So what I like to do is what if we did have more money? What if we were funded on a similar level to TriMet or even BART? What if we had a full cent? What could we do with that? What is the transit future that we deserve here? So I've talked to you about all the programs that we have going on right now, but how do we fund them? How do we implement them? That's where this next part is going to take up. This is complicated. I'm just going to look at a couple different colors. You see this blue? This is our dedicated operating revenue. You see how it's been stagnant? Costs have gone up at the same time, right? So revenues have been stagnant, yet costs have gone up, and we have something called a funding gap. You can see it with this red and the blue. It grows over time. So a new revenue source will be needed in the next few years to avoid service reductions. So we don't want to talk about service reductions. We want to talk about expansion. We want to talk about better opportunities and a more holistic mobility network. These are our capital projects. I think it was on one of Devra's slides too. The ones in white we have funded. None of these are funded. So which ones do we do? Which ones can we do? And which ones do we prioritize? So we put together SacRT 2050. We went out to the public and asked them what they wanted. Several times we went to survey. We did a funding game as well. Really had breakout groups, individual focus groups as well. And we asked them what they wanted to, how they wanted to improve their system. So like I said before, like late night service. So when they get out of their ball game, the bus is still there. When they get out of their concert, they can still make it. Or when they get off of work, maybe they work at the restaurant, they still have bus or rail service. And like I said before, shelter's right at the top. They want to make sure we maintain existing service, give students free fares. So we use this as the basis of what we want our expenditure plan to be. So basically we put together a 1/4 cent and a 1/2 cent fiscally constrained transit plan for the region based upon the input that we got from the public. And here's the 1/4 cent. So for a 1/4 cent, we can maintain existing service, maintain state of good repair. You guys seen our new light rail vehicles? Before we got those vehicles, we had the oldest light rail fleet in the nation. Now we have some of the newest. If you guys have ridden those old light rail vehicles, you know they were not pleasant. The new ones are really nice. So we need to make sure we keep state of good repair up top. We also have these student-free fares. We have something ride-free RT. If you're in school right now, you can ride for free. That funding is in jeopardy. I don't know if you guys have heard about the school districts not having a lot of money. So that's something that we're subsidizing right now. We also have discount fares, late night service, stops and shelters, and some other things too. So I have this little map here. Uh-oh. Let's see. This is fine. Let's see how it goes. So this is our base system. This is our light rail. First thing we're going to get out of this is the bus rapid transit on Stockton Boulevard. That's this green right here. There's a nice little visual of what you're going to get there. We're also going to have 15-minute service on some of these routes that we don't have right now. Right now, these are only running at every 30 minutes. There's only 2 routes in our entire bus system that run every 15 minutes. If you miss that bus, it can be a problem. So one of the lines that we have up here at 15-minute service is Route 11 going up to the airport. Right now, it's every hour. With every 15-minute frequency, maybe we can start getting that towards bus rapid transit at the airport. I also talked about late night service. Wouldn't it be bad if she was waiting for a bus that never came? We want to make sure people have that freedom and opportunity at night. And we're also going to be offering some new service. Delta Shores down in, it's like South Sacramento, North Elk Grove, has no transit service right now. It's the #1 request that we get. Huge shopping area, but it has no transit service. Also way up in Natomas, up here. Look at all those houses. No transit service as it stands right now. So with this additional funding, we'll be able to give them good, high quality service. So 1/4 cent, that basically keeps us where we're at. Maybe gives us a few little things that we could have. The 1/2 cent, where we're on par with like TriMet. This is where the really big projects come in. Not only can we maintain service, give those student free fares, we can now start having high frequency network, bus network expansion, bus rapid transit, and even some light rail extensions as well. So with the 1/2 cent, what can we get? First one, green line extension to the airport. Isn't that nice? The blue line extension, blue line extension down to Elk Grove. This would just be one station down to Bighorn, Elk Grove. You guys like my AI, the light rail? Gemini 3.0 is great. Also, before we had 1 Stockton BRT, we're going to have 5 now. Not only in Stockton, we're going to be able to do horizontally, coming up to Citrus Heights, to Roseville as well, and really start connecting the entire region where there isn't one right now. It's really hard to get from Citrus Heights down to Rancho Cordova. There's not a lot of frequency. We're going to have some more routes with 15-minute frequency as well, starting to serve the college. We're going to continue that late night service because not only do people get off of work sometimes, but sometimes there's events and they need to get out from those events. What about the Kings game when it ends late? How are you going to get home? We heard a story just recently, Channel 24, right there at our station. People take light rail there to get to their concert, and then after the concert's over, they have a $50 Uber ride back home. This is all over Reddit. People were mad at us for our light rail stopping too early. So we need to make sure we give them the option to take transit. This is a big one. All bus routes operate 30 minutes, 12 hours a day for 7 days per week. Have you guys ever tried to catch a bus before? Goodness gracious, that's not what we want. Right now we have many buses that run once an hour. We want to make sure everybody has the ability to get to it if they need it. And finally, some more service above and beyond what we talked about before. This is a big connection I want to highlight. If you are in Citrus Heights right now, there's no connection to Folsom. If you don't own a car, you can't get there. So this would now have a connection between those 2 cities that we do not currently have today. So this is a vision of what transit can be. This is the transit future we deserve in Sacramento. All it will take is a 1/2 cent sales tax measure, and we'll be on par with some of the major transit providers in the nation. Thanks so much.
So if you have any questions for Anthony or Devra, please grab your mic in the center of your table so our folks virtually can hear your question as well. And Devra and Anthony will let you guys answer.
Hi, yeah, I was just noticing, working backwards through my notes, there was a cross section for the Stockton Boulevard BRT options, and both of them had bike lanes adjacent to vehicle traffic with no vertical separation. So I was wondering why, especially on the one where you have the bus rapid transit separate from the vehicle traffic, why we left the bicycle traffic next to the cars.
I wonder if it was this one. Is it this one?
Yes.
So I should have said this. Felt rushed. But this is actually, so I showed you before that there was a hybrid with the light rail and the bus rapid transit. So the light rail is going to extend down to here, And then the bus rapid transit is going to continue on to the base of Elk Grove. So this is Elk Grove's bus rapid transit layout. They've already provided right-of-way for the BRT or LRT to traverse. So this is the right-of-way that is here right now. They would shift the road over and then put it in the center. Or then if the right-of-way is on the side, there is a portion where they would leave it on the side of the roadway as well. But yeah, this isn't necessarily a complete streets project. This would be more instituting transit into an existing roadway.
For the expenditure plan, when do you plan to go to voters? And are you going to go with the half-cent or quarter-cent? And I'm
Awesome.
guessing you're doing polling for this, so.
Wonderful. So we cannot advocate, we can only inform and educate. We cannot run a tax, we are not running a tax measure as it is right now. Our board has the authority to do so, but we have not voted on that. There is a citizens tax measure that is currently collecting signatures. That citizens tax measure is a city of Sacramento only measure. Half of it would go to roads and half of it would go to transit. So transit would get a quarter cent or so of that city only measure. This will help give them an expenditure plan of what they can do with the money. The hard part about this is we are a regional transit operator and Sacramento is a third of our population. So if we get money from them, everyone else is going to get, like Sacramento's going to get better service while we cut service for everyone else. So it is a tough position to be in, but I do hope the city of Sacramento is able to provide that for them so they don't see any service cuts and also can maybe get that Stockton BRT and that Route 11 extended to the airport. So this will be used as the basis for a future funding measure, but that will be taken up by our board at the future. Yes, sir.
I did hear you mention this city once. Maybe it's difficult because it's in a different county, but is there a method or a plan to improve transit between Sacramento and places like Roseville and Rockland?
Well, I have my senior service manager here who's doing a COA. Let's see if he's got a quick answer for you.
Yeah, I mean, our service area ends at the county line. Roseville has their own couple, kind of two different transit systems. But there's always been a fairly significant local control sentiment in Roseville, I'd say. There've definitely been approaches in the past to talk about extending SacRT or just light rail up in that direction. But, you know, the other half of the site has to want to do it.
Yes, sir.
What's the timeline for getting out to the airport?
So we're going to do like a A-B concept. We have dedicated right-of-way right now. So this alignment that's like highlighted in blue, there's exclusive, right? Like if you drive up Truxell right now on the left side, you'll see that there's right-of-way set aside for that project. And we want to utilize that in the short term. This Green Line project is $2 billion with a B. What we would like to do, similar to the Elk Grove, is do a bus rapid transit first. We can use that exclusive right-of-way to do a fixed guideway bus rapid transit to the airport. We could do that for about $300 million and still use the same stations, have the improved right-of-way before we put the rails in and the overhead cantilever wires for light rail. So we're hoping to have a bus rapid transit 5 to 7 years. We just got some money from the state to do a bus rapid transit feasibility study for the Green Line. After that, we would need an additional funding measure in order to do the light rail. So we could do bus rapid transit with like the city if they pass one. Maybe if there's some extra subsidies that we get from Metro Air Park or maybe Jibe, we could do that. But yeah, the light rail is still a decade or more away. The bus rapid transit is within a decade. Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of the reasons that we have to do the bus rapid transit, not the light rail, is you guys have heard about the I Street Bridge? It's 160 above, right? It's 160 million short. Oh God, that was horrible. So we have to build the Truxell Bridge. So after the I Street Bridge is built, then we have to build the Truxell Bridge for the Green Line. So if we do the bus rapid transit, we can just use the I-5 in the interim. So we could do the bus rapid transit in a much shorter time frame than having to wait on that bridge. Yes, please, Melissa.
Anthony, I've heard that there's a potential for the IOD right of way to expire in the short term. What is the conversation around that? Is there any likelihood that anything would be built there, or what needs to happen for it to be continued?
Yeah, part of that feasibility study that we got funding for from Caltrans is for that exact reason. So a third of our IODs, those are irrevocable offers of dedication. That's our right of way. It's expiring by 2029. It's like pretty soon. So in order to keep that right of way, we have to take possession of it. In order for us to take possession of it, we have to have a FTA approved environmental document. And in order to have an improved environmental document, you have to have a reasonable funding plan. So we have an environmental document for the Green Line. It's actually already done. The FTA would not adopt it because we don't have a funding plan. It's not a realistic project, so they're not going to adopt it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do BRT in the interim. We can do a funding plan with BRT. We can find the money for that. So we can keep those IODs with the BRT, hopefully utilize them. If not, we'll save them for the time that the light rail's there. But the point is, we do not want to take light rail off the table. Just because we don't have it today doesn't mean that our children shouldn't have it. So yeah, we want to make sure that we don't remove that as a possibility going forward. Yes, please.
Can you talk a little bit about the streetcar project?
Okay. I'm the streetcar. I'm kind of the project manager for that project. I've been on it for the past 3 years or so. That's this little extension right here. Now, I put that on there as an existing project because it is fully funded. So was the I Street Bridge. So that project is 95% design. We're going to be going to the board in July for our CEQA. A NEPA will be shortly after. And if things go well, if tariffs go down and inflation stops, then we might be able to build this streetcar. We would be in construction just next summer, and we would start service in 2029. Hopefully by the time we get a new MLB team as well too, right? So the key about that project, though, to be perfectly honest, you saw our funding issues that we have. To operate that extension is $5 million a year that we don't have. So the city of Sacramento has to pay that. West Sacramento, I apologize. Yeah, city of West Sacramento. Now, Sacramento said no to this, but city of West Sacramento would have to pay that because we already take city of Sacramento's transit money, right? But West Sacramento is not our member agency. So we're in coordination with them, in collaboration with them. It's like $5 million they'd have to pay from somewhere. So there will be some rubber hits the road conversations that'll happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks, to be perfectly honest, because their council has to commit to that. They haven't yet. Now it's just been a project that we've been pushing forward. They told us to do it. We don't do any of these things our own volition. They own all the right of way. So before, that was a different council. That was a different time. They said yes. They gave us money. Just so you know, last week at the West Sacramento City Council, they removed the funding from the streetcar so they can discuss it at their next meeting. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll see. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a really good idea of the future of that streetcar and if the city of West Sacramento is willing to support it. As it stands now, it's fully funded, though. We got $164 million. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Curious. So if I was, say, a restaurant owner in the city or the county, and I had an issue that somebody was breaking the law on my property or something like that, I should be able to call the police or the sheriffs to have them take care of it. I'm curious why SacRT needs to have a contract with, you said previously it was SacPD and now it's the sheriffs, while also having near the 13th Street station, there's a building there that's like, I think it's SacRT's dedicated police force. So why there's a dedicated police force and a contract with a law enforcement agency for work that they're, I would assume, funded to do for the general public, period.
Yeah, it's pretty common practice for large transit agencies to have their own police force. Like BART has it, Chicago, MTA, same way, right? So we don't have our own police force. We only contract. So there's no like SacRT police officers. We contract with the county and we pay like 23 of them to work with us. And we could just ask the county and call them and have their police come, but they might be doing something else. And we want to make sure we are their number one priority. So we are paying them to be our number one priority. So that's why we pay 23. We also have 75 transit ambassadors and 50 security guards as well. So that's in a way, that's our police force, is the security guards and the transit ambassadors. But those sheriffs are indispensable. We need them to make sure that whenever we call them, we are number one and they're responsive. So the tough part about that is we don't get more money for safety. Like there's no line item in your FTA expenditure plan for safety. So every dollar we spend on safety means we can't run a bus or we can't build another shelter. So safety's great. It is number one, but it's a tough expense for us to undertake. And I don't know how much we spend, but it's millions of dollars every year in safety.
Sorry, just to follow up on that.
Yeah.
So the officers that are in like SacRT
Yeah.
marked vehicles and badges and stuff like that, those are actually Sacramento County Sheriff's officers in SacRT uniforms and vehicles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Dustin?
Just a question about the City of Sacramento Citizens Initiative and the discussion about the operation versus expansion split for SacRT.
Mm-hmm.
What's SacRT's stance on that? Because I know with the funding cliff concern, you can only have so much expansion because you have to pay for the operations.
Great nuanced question. And if you look at the expenditure plan for the city measure, it has 6.5% for state of good repair and the rest is for expansion. So you're exactly right that if we have a $30 million shortfall and we have to cut service, how are we going to expand? So that's a question that I have been wanting to find an answer to, and we're not quite there yet. But I'm equally as concerned. We do have an expenditure plan on what we could do with that money, but yeah, it's like filling up your gas tank, but then not putting oil in your car or something, right? You're doing one thing, but you're taking away somewhere else. So I don't know how that's all going to work, but yeah, the expenditure plan calls for expansion. It doesn't call for maintenance of service. So it is a real concern of ours. I don't know if we'll have to cut service and then grow it again, if you know what I mean. That might have, that's how they do. Just so you know, whenever they passed okay, this happened in SB1 for the road tax. There was something called a maintenance of effort. So every city had to continue to spend the same amount of money that they spent last year on their roads. So when they got new sales tax money, they didn't supplant that. But people knew that it was coming. So the year before they passed that tax, people stopped spending money on the roads and their maintenance of effort cratered. Just so you know. So that might be what someone has to do for transit. It might just be they'll cut service right before it's implemented, so we add it, quote unquote. Yes, ma'am.
I was curious about the AI kind of drone program that you are piloting and are those like flown out from your facility every day? Are those kind of kept in the area? How are those managed?
I believe it's through a partnership with Sacramento PD. But they can only be used for track purposes. They can't be used for like anything else. They can't like identify you and then a crime, like it's not tied to that. It's truly about track maintenance and safety to make sure that our system is smooth and safe for our riders. So it's not used for anything else. The same goes for the bus stop and bike lane enforcement AI. It's only used specifically for that. They do not use it for anything else. They don't take your photo and then, call out police if they see you and you get arrested. Let's say you have a warrant. It has nothing to do with that. It's completely about safety and security related specifically to those projects.
No facial recognition, right? Yeah, I think there was some city that's doing facial recognition. Some transit agency just started it. All right, that might be it.
All right, I think that's it. So thank you so much, Devra and Anthony. This was super interesting, very informative. I really appreciate everything you shared with us today. And thank you all for coming out today for our lunch program. And hopefully we will see you all on August 4th here at SACOG. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.